I get a lot of questions about this rig that we're using here. This is just a regular old tripod. And then B&H sells this bar here. Brad actually knows the name of this bar. This is a 3-head. It's a 144D accessory arm. Of course it is. So it's the 144D accessory arm, and the accessory arm lets you mount a ball head on one end, and then this little tray table, which comes from Tether Tools, on the other end. And that's all you really have to do as far as, and the hard part is just plug in the cable in. Plug one end into your computer, one end into your, and you're ready to tether. Because Lightroom has the tethering capability built right in. You just have to go turn it on. Now we took a test shot here, and it looks kind of blue. Anyway, sorry, it's a joke only people can appreciate. All right, so to turn on tethering, I'm going to turn it off so we did a little test shoot there. So let me just, so to turn it on, all you do is you go under the File menu to Tethered Capture, and you choose Start Tethered Capture. And it brings up this little window where you give it a name. You choose where you want, you can rename them as they come in if you want. You choose where you want them saved, and you choose where you want them on your hard drive. We'll just say mount to the hard drive. You can also put your copyright and stuff in here. So as the images come in, you can have them automatically copyrighted as they come in. You can add keywords, so you can say New York City, fashion, etc. And whatever you want to put in there, you can add for keywords. And when you click OK, it brings up this floating bar. Now, this floating bar was designed by Adobe to, no matter where you move it, it's always in the way. That was the idea. You'd never really get to see your actual image. There actually is a tip. So in Lightroom 4, they added a new little tip. If you hold the Option key on Mac or the Alt key on PC, now I'm going to zoom way in so you can see it. See that little thing changes from a close to a minus? So now, let me zoom back out. If you hold that, it shrinks down to just that little button. So you can actually fire the camera from that button. If you click that button, it'll actually fire the camera. So that would be good if you were doing something weird, if you're shooting somebody from overhead and you've mounted a camera in the ceiling and you don't want to climb up there to shoot it, you could use this. But generally, you're going to be shooting your own camera, but there is a little button on it. To bring it back out, you hold the Option key on Mac or the Alt key on PC, and it comes back out. But I'm going to give you one more keyboard shortcut that I think will help you even more. If you don't want to just minimize it, if you're not going to push that shutter button, really, why have it on screen at all? Command-T. On Mac, Control-T hides it. So you're still tethered, it's still working, but it's there. Now, if it doesn't see your camera, I've learned that if you don't turn the camera on, it doesn't work very well. So see where it says no camera detected? Now it says Canon EOS 5D Mark III, so we're good to go. So once it sees your camera name, that's when you press that Command-T thing. So I'm going to hide it from view, so it's working. And I usually shoot in the Develop module over here so I can see the images as they come in. Now, I want to talk a little bit about camera settings. For those of you who've never shot in a studio before, I don't know if there's any easier place to have your settings done than there is in the studio. The studio is the easiest camera settings of anywhere because pretty much there's 3 things you can change on your camera to make an exposure, right? Your f-stop, your ISO, or your shutter speed. Good news, 2 of them are never going to change. You lock them in and they just stay set the whole shoot. You never change, you never touch them. Very few things in photography are like that, right? Where 2 of your 3 settings are set before you ever touch the camera. So you switch to manual mode. We're going to set our shutter speed, and we'll leave it there all day long at 1/125th of a second. Indoors, it's just a happy, safe shutter speed that syncs with your camera, no problem, syncs with the lights, no problem, 1/125th of a second. Secondly, since we're shooting in a studio, we don't need high ISO. We have a flash to freeze the motion. So we're going to shoot at the cleanest ISO our camera will let us. The lowest number, whatever it is on your particular make and model of camera, if it's 100 or 50 or 200, whatever, on the Canon 5D here, it is just 100. All right? So we are at 1/125th of a second at ISO 100. So the last thing left, the only thing that's going to really change is the f-stop. I try to use an f-stop in a studio that is going to make everything in focus. And to make everything in focus when you shoot people, and this works for indoors or outdoors, you have to take that little red focus dot and put it right on their eye. If it goes on their eye, everything will be in focus. So I choose an f-stop that makes sure that when I put the red dot on their eye, their hair won't be a little out of focus or anything, everything will be really sharp. So usually f11, I'll go as low as f9 or f8, somewhere in there, one of those f-stops that's going to make everything super in focus. All right, so those are your 3 f-stops. Now, here's the thing. If I take a test shot and it looks too dark, I have two things I can do. I can change my f-stop, just like if you want it to be brighter, you change your f-stop, right? Or I can change the power of the light. And I want to talk a little bit about the lights we're using today. We're only using one light. When I shoot fashion, I really want to go with a very, very simple lighting setup. If you go and look online and look at behind-the-scenes shots of some of the biggest fashion shoots, very, very often it is really just one light. It's a really, really simple setup, which is nice. It makes our job really easier. And then what you're really trying to do is then focus on the subject, because you're not so much worried about the lighting, because the lighting part is pretty easy. We're using just one light. The light we're using it's a BXRI 500, but they've just released a new series of these that I believe are the BRX. Yeah, the BRX 500s. And what I love about this light is the price of this light. Now, before I tell you what the price is, the thing I love about it, these are the exact ones that I use in our studio. In fact, are these the ones from our studio? They just loaned us some here. Okay. So we use this exact same light in our studio. Thing about them is they're really rugged, but what I love about them is it uses a wireless triggering system. So it's this little thing right here. This little wiring triggering system right here. What's nice about it is it does fire the light wirelessly. Well, duh, every wireless triggers. But what's nice is this will actually trigger the power of the flash. I can turn the flash up and down from here. So if I didn't have this, I would have to basically get up on a ladder every time I want to change the power. But here, I can change the power, move it up and down anytime I want, not just for one light. If I had 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, it has 4 different channels. I could have multiple lights on one channel. You can control your whole studio from something the size of a matchbook. So that way, I never really have to leave the back of my camera. It's all set. I can fire a test flash from here, and there's a little button. There's a plus sign and a minus sign. I can go up 1/10 of a stop or down 1/10 of a stop just using that little button. And that way you have some freedom. So if I want to move up a half stop, I have to hit it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what's nice about it is the wireless part is actually built into the light. You don't have to buy a wireless receiver for the light. It's built in. Now, here's the nice thing. You can get one of these for just cheaper than it is to buy a little Canon flash, right? Or a Nikon flash. You ever look at how expensive those flashes have gotten? Like a Nikon, like this, no, it's $600 for a Canon flash, the new Canon flash. I don't know, it seems like a lot of money. It's like someone needs to tell the camera companies, this may not be the best economic times. You might want to not charge $600 for a flash. But anyway, so these are in the $500 and something range, more closer to $600, but less than the off-camera flash. It's crazy, right? And it has the wireless built into it, so all you need is the little transceiver. Now, this softbox, this is my go-to softbox. So the light is from Elinchrom, and this is a softbox. Even though it says Rotolex, it's made by Elinchrom. They're Swiss makers of lights. They make wonderful lights. But this particular softbox is my go-to softbox. I absolutely love it. And I got to tell you a story about this particular one. So this is a 53-inch MIDI octa, and it's not very expensive. It's right around $300, which for a big old giant softbox that makes everybody look beautiful is not bad. But I got to tell you a quick story about this. So there was a workshop. This workshop was held. This was like 2 years ago. Workshop was held, and they thought at the end of the workshop it'd be really cool to bring all the instructors from the workshop together, and they would get to choose a model, they'd get to choose a light, and they get to choose, some background props or a background, and they would have an hour to go make a shot. So they gave them all the stuff. They made an hour. They all came back, and all the students in the class decided which photographer of the instructors made the best shot. Now, I heard this story from a buddy of mine who was at the conference. Well, one guy won hands down. Everybody chose this guy's shot. And so all the other photographers were in the bar afterwards complaining how this guy won. Because that's what we do as photographers, right? We go and say, I can't believe that guy won. You know what their complaint was? Here's what they said. And the guy said, this is what they said verbatim. Well, sure, you can make anybody look good with a MIDI octa. Think about that. If there's a softbox that makes anybody look good, so much so that other photographers will consider it cheating that you used it, I'll take 2, right? So anyway, I think for the bang for the buck, that light and that softbox, we use it for so many things. We don't just use it for fashion, we use it for like everything. We do full length, we do 3/4. It's also great for lighting group shots because it's just so big. So it's really, really nice. But you know that saying about the bigger the light source, the softer the light? Well, 53 inches, it's got a really great thing to it. The only thing I would do is I would get 2 things. I would get a really good boom arm like this, and I would get just a random stranger to hold it. And one that poses on command. No, I would actually get sandbags. Make sure you get sandbags. I'm going to give you a tip. B&H sells sandbags. Here's the thing. If you buy them, get the ones that don't have sand already in them. Apparently sand is pretty available wherever you go, and it's cheaper for the shipping. But anyway, so get a couple of sandbags. We were in the studio, and we didn't sandbag one day. We were shooting a cyclist, and we had a rig like this, and we sat there and we just watched it go. And you think you'll have time to reach over and grab it. No, you don't. You know how you know when it's going to fall? Because you hear the sound of glass breaking. So luckily, but you know what? Luckily, all it did was break the softbox. It messed up, well, just broke the modeling light. But it could have hit my subject. It could have hit anybody. All right, so that would all be bad stuff. All right, so we're all kind of set up here. So let me think if there's anything else I want to talk about. The tethering, I talked about the lights, I talked about this, we're ready to go. Now, here's what we're going to do. This is what's really fun. What you don't know is hidden behind this white seamless paper are two professional retouchers named Julieanne and Katrin. They're hidden back there. There's Julie. You can see part of Julieanne, and look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the shoot portion of this, and then I'm going to turn things over to them, and they're going to take it through Lightroom and show you their workflow and how they would bring these in, edit them, add effects, do some portrait retouching, the whole 9 yards. So I get the first half, and they get the second half. All right. You only photograph dead things? That sunflower wasn't dead, but it only had about an hour left in it. All right, now I know. So that would be bad. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and do a live shoot. We're very, very fortunate to have a wonderful model with us. Can you guys please welcome to the stage Caroline. Hi, Caroline. How are things? You're very tall. That's really good in a model. It's kind of like the first step. It's step one. Are you really tall? And everything else falls into place. Okay. Now, we were lucky that we had styling and stuff, too. So now, do you guys want to come and do any last-minute primping or anything? Because we have a whole styling crew. You're allowed to do this. They're thinking you look so perfect you don't want to mess with her, right? All right. But if there is a styling emergency, we have the styling crew is right here in the front row. Just if anything happens, let me know. All right, Caroline, I'm going to have you move just a little bit closer. Ooh, about right there. Can you move just a bit this way? All right, so here's our first lighting tip. Don't move. Don't breathe. Don't make a sound. No, I'm okay. Here, so here's the first lighting tip. You notice I didn't say go to my left, go to my right, or any of that stuff. When you do that, you're looking in the opposite, and you always tell them, can you move to your right? No, I'm sorry, my right. No, your other right. It's always embarrassing, and embarrassing is your subject, right? Now, she's a professional model. She's not too worried about it. She's not like, oh, you know. But if you're doing the vice president of marketing and you have her move the wrong way, she's all of a sudden embarrassed and like she just got on the set and you've said something terrible. So instead of saying move left, move right, just hold up your hand and just say, can you go this way a little? All right, come towards me, back just a hair, and over. If you just use hand gestures, no one will ever go there. It's not like you're going to go, all right, move this way, and they go this way. They go the way your hand. And you can even do it like with their head. You can go, okay, tilt your head a little more. That's a good boy. You can actually just move there. And so it does a really, really nice job as far as directing your subjects. All right, so now, let me see where we're at. All right, we're just going to take a test shot. This could be either really good or really bad. Hold on. This is just like kind of the first, let me wake up the camera because it fell asleep, and let me make sure that it doesn't see the camera. There it goes. So the camera goes to sleep. Hey, we're shooting a Canon 5D Mark III. This is my first time actually shooting with a 5D Mark III. You've probably if you've seen me shoot before, you've seen me with Nikon, but people don't realize I also have a Canon 50D, which is just a beautiful camera, and I particularly like this lens. One thing I do love about the way Canons shoot is I love the way they render skin tone, really, really nice. So I'm very, very lucky to get to shoot this for the first time here. Now, this is a test shot. Don't panic if this looks horrible, because it could easily look, well, you're going to look kind of blue. Take a look. There's nothing we can do about that screen. But the rest, if I were you, I would only look at that screen. And that goes for everyone over there, too. Here we go. Just a test shot. Don't do anything fabulous. Don't do anything great. Hold it for later. Hang on. Let's move that out of the way. All right. It doesn't look terribly bad except for the blue part. Don't look over there. All right. So, so what I'm trying to do is I want really, really flat light. That's why the light is directly in front of her. Now, we'll move it to the side in a minute. We'll do something else, but I'm putting it right in front of her because all I really want is a little shadow under her chin. I want it really, really bright. But if you take a look, her eyes are a little bit dark in there. So let me take one more test shot, and I'm going to have you take a half a step forward. That was exactly a half a step. All right, let's take a look. Here we go. Nice. Now, hold the fabulous in. Don't waste fabulous. I can see that was 75% fabulous right there. So here we go. Oh, yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Okay, so if you want to put a little more light in the eyes now, if you noticed, she just tipped her head up a little towards the light. So if the light is above her and she tips a little up towards it, so in this one time, Caroline, can you just kind of chin down towards me, and you could even see it. Okay, so tip your head back up. You can actually see the light in her eyes just using the modeling light. As she tips it down, you can see. But I don't want to restrict her to where she can only look up at the light. I don't want to say to my subject, oh, only look up the whole time, because it makes them feel weird. And she's a professional. She has a number of poses that she's going to work through and that she's comfortable with. I don't want to say, let's do something else. But for this one, just for the example purposes, chin down just a little bit like that. And yeah, that looks real mean. That's good. All right. Let's take a look. Yeah, you see the little shadows under there? It's easy enough to get rid of. We're going to bring up a reflector. So who's got the reflector? All right. So this is David. He's going to help us for a minute. All right, so we have two different sides to this reflector. We have a white side and a silver side. The white side reflects much less. Always try with white first, because silver can really just throw so much light up there. Let's try the white side, and see if it does anything. Here we go. Semi-fabulous. Don't get carried away. Here we go. Ooh, a sneer. Oh, that's good. I rarely get a sneer. Here we go. Oh, yeah. You could be so British. Okay. That's a British sneer out there. It's fantastic. I love it. Absolutely amazing. Okay. Look, David, I don't... Oh, that did pretty good. You did the white side? Seriously, you're brilliant with that thing. Okay. Let's talk about this. So this is from the F.J. Westcott Company. This is one of these little reflectors. This is the best deal. Now, the one that we use in our studio is a 5-in-1 reflector. It's literally like $35. And it comes with a silver side, a gold side, a kind of platinum side, some other side we never use. But inside, if you zip it open, inside is a one-stop diffuser. So you can go outdoors and, like, let's say I was going to take a picture of David if he hadn't jumped off the stage. David, I'm going to use you. Can you jump up here? All right, so David, coming up here. So let's just say I want to take a picture of David outside. You would take that diffuser, and you would just literally put it between the sun and David, and he looks beautiful. And see how it puts a shade over him? He looks much better in this light, don't you think? Okay, thank you, David. All right, I'm going to give this back to you. So the white reflects some of the light back into her face. The silver reflects a ton of light back in, but I think we're getting pretty close here. I want to make sure we have plenty of time for Katrin and Julieanne, who are waiting patiently. Your retouchers are waiting backstage. All right, let's take another shot here. And again, these are just test shots. We're going to do 3/4 length when we get really rolling. Oh, that's nice. All right, let's see. Oh, yeah. It's fun. Really great stuff. Fantastic. I like the meanness. I feel your anger as a person. All right, now, what's strange is I'm feeling David's anger as well, and he has nothing to do with this shot. Okay, all right, so I think we pretty much alleviated most of that. So what I usually do with the person holding the reflector is I have them get to where I can actually see them in the frame, and then I say down further, until they're just out of frame, because that will reflect the most light. So let's do that, David, if we can. So get it really tight in there. All right, and bring it down. Actually, then down a little bit more. Right there. Now it's out of there, and we can see if we're getting some light back in. And can we just see the silver side one time just so we can see? Let's pop a silver in there. Oh, actually that worked really well. This silver is probably going to blow your head off, sorry. Down a little, David. And this is the silver side. Well, it's not too terribly bad. Actually, look, she's dancing. Okay, so now it won't stop. Sorry. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get a couple of shots, because I want to take some for Katrin and Julieanne to be able to. So I'm going to shoot these 3/4 length. So David, you're going to have to go down lower, because I'm going to be, say, waist level like that. Let's go. Well, you're down low. Let's try silver, because he's down low and the light's not going to jump up as much. And also, do you see how David's tilting it back towards her? So the light's going to come down. It's going to hit here, and it ping-pongs just like a pool table. It comes right back up. So when he tilts it back towards her, he's actually sending the light towards her. So David's a photographer. He's quite a good photographer. So his main job normally isn't holding a reflector. It's other people holding reflectors for him. All right, we're going to go 3/4 length here. Let me get back a little bit. There we go. This is a horrible shot. Sorry. It's just bad photography. I don't know what was going on there. Oh, you fixed it. Okay. It's just like you cropped off her elbow and stuff, and it's really, you should kind of keep all your digits and stuff. All right, so that was just, there we go. Very nice. All right, now, if you see what I'm doing with the camera here, now she's, what I'm doing is, and you'll see me doing this, I'm putting the cursor on her eye. I hold the shutter button down halfway, it locks it on her face, and then I recompose and focus. So if you see me going beep, 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 that's me doing it. Now, I know a lot of photographers that will focus on the eye once and they'll shoot 30 shots, but I'm just kind of weird about it. So I do it on the eye like every time or every other time. You don't have to do it that much. It's a personal flaw. Here we go. Oh, nice. That looks great. Fantastic. This is not your first time. These are great. These are awesome. Wow, look at this. You look shocked in one, and then in the next you look sleepy. This is perfect. No, this is great. Now, hey, guys, can I get you up here real quick? Can you fix this real quick, just for a second? All right, stay right where you are. Don't move. Come on up. There's stairs right over there. Right back there. We have to fix something. Sorry. Don't move. All right, come in. All right, there's nothing really wrong. I just want to introduce you guys. So this is Eric. He did the hair. This is Cassie, who did the makeup. Now this is Sophia. Now I've worked with Sophia and Cassie every time I come to New York. I always hire a fashion stylist. So Sophia is the fashion stylist, and she was the one that introduced me to Cassie, and they do a wonderful job. So write this down, Sophia Batson. When you want to hire a fashion stylist in New York City, she is amazing. She's just been incredible. This is like my fourth or fifth shoot. But she always puts together an absolute ace team. So there was nothing really to fix, but I wanted to embarrass you guys. Now go back and sit down. We're about to get our deal done. All right, so let me get a couple of more shots. We're going to do some 2/3 stuff, but the lighting looks good. You look fantastic. I look beautiful. So here we go. And you notice there's no light on the background. I'm letting the front light, I have her close enough to the background where the front light is actually lighting the background for me. And it's supposed to be a light gray, or for some of you, a light blue. Very nice. Now, when I'm composing these, I try not to compose where I'm cutting off a joint. Like, you don't want to cut off right there, and so as she's moving, and if you'll notice now, she's a professional. When she's moving, she actually gives you a time that says to the photographer, shoot now. And watch when she does it. She'll go, and she hits her pose. It's your job to fire right then. It's like, bang, bang. I mean, she'll move through the poses, and watch as we're shooting, and you can see she gives you a visual cue, shoot now. If you don't shoot there and she has to hold it for a minute, the pose she starts to get, not Caroline personally, but models will start to get a little bit like, I gave you the cue, why aren't you shooting? And it kind of messes up the pose. So there is a rhythm to the way they shoot, and to the way they move, not the way they shoot. Here we go. Bang. If you don't shoot at the right point, you get a silly shot. Nice. Now, sometimes I have to, I'm going to have to cut off something, sorry. You don't deserve this. I just cut off fingers. Ooh, nice. Great. I think we have enough shots already to do what we have to do for Katrin. And oh, lovely. Oh, the makeup in here looks so good. You guys did such a great job. Thank you. Yeah. Hey, we're going to, I want to give you a tip about shooting full length, and I also want to just change the lighting just a little bit. So I'm going to have you guys now. Caroline, I'm going to have you just step off just a little to just over there. You never want to adjust the lighting while the person's standing there. I see photographers do it, but if anything goes wrong and they loosen something, it's a good chance your subject will get hit with a light or something crazy. So they're going to bring this thing down. And you don't have to use this particularly heavy of a stand, but this stand isn't as expensive as you would think. What's this? What's the boom go for? This is, it's $350? Yeah. It costs more than the softbox? That's not right. Some things in photography don't make sense. All right. All right, Brad, did you tighten these? So this is Brad Moore. He is my photographic assistant and full-time assistant. He runs our studios and stuff. But Brad has an eerie superhuman strength thing. When he tightens something, I kid you not, you cannot get it off. It's freakish. And so the only person that can get it back off is Brad. All right, so we're going to just turn this thing to the side a little bit. And you'll see it's just going to give you a different pattern. So Caroline, when you come back on, what I'm going to have you do, and you can they're probably clearer from you now. They won't hurt you. Now, normally, if we were shooting, again and again, Brad will actually just put a piece of tape on the ground so she'll know where to go back. But that's about fine where you're at. What was I going to tell you about this? I had something I completely forgot what it was, but we're going to move you back into place, and these guys are having fun. Well, the reason they're having such a hard time is we're actually like 3 feet up from the floor. Normally in the studio, you wouldn't have this balancing act that we have here. And we're still going to have to get that light up a little higher. Yeah, or basically, we could just park a car there and turn on the lights. There we go. That's a little better. Let's just take a test shot. Now, here's what I want to tell you, Caroline. So will you face your body that way? But then your head's going to come back and play a little towards the light. Yes. Yes, this could be fabulous. But I cannot be sure. Let's take a test shot because your light was aimed by 2 guys who have been drinking. Here we go. With Julieanne. Sorry, Julieanne. You don't deserve that. Let us see. Okay, my timing might not have been perfect. It's possible I was off by just a second. I know you've never heard this, but it's not you. It's me. Here we go. All right, here we go. Oh, nice. Look at that look. Okay, she's going to laugh. I got it. But you know what? Honestly, tell me if I'm not right. Sometimes the best shots are the shot between the shot, when you have that real moment where they're being themselves. And that's why 2 things. I talk to the subjects all the time, number 1, because I want those shots between the shots. But number 2 is, I can tell you from experience, if it goes quiet on your shoot, your subject starts to get nervous. Now, she's a professional model. She's not worried, do I look good? She's like, I'm a model. But if you're shooting someone who's not used to being in front of the camera, right? Let's say we're shooting the executive vice president. He's probably very, very uncomfortable already, doesn't like having his picture taken. And picture this, you're like this. You take a shot and you're like, yeah, it doesn't look good. This isn't, yeah. So here's the thing. If you do have a problem, even if it is that your subject doesn't look good, which is obviously not the case here, but if your subject doesn't look good, you need to be telling them, my camera, that's too dark, it's too light. Even if the exposure's dead on, whatever you're doing, move some knobs. Do something to make them think, hey, you're doing great. Let me just fix this lighting. I don't want to mess this up. You look great. Let me fix this. And then as soon as you get a good shot, as soon as you nail that one shot, stop the shoot and have your subject come around and look at the shot. When you have one that's really good, because right now, I'm taking her picture, right? I'm shooting pictures of her. When she comes around and sees one that she likes, and number 1, she's like, oh, okay, this is going good. Don't do it till you got a good one. And now you're working together. Now she feels like, okay, this guy's okay, I'm okay, together we can create something good. Because now she's invested in the shoot, not just standing there, you're shooting her. So a lot of this is like little psychological stuff, but it really pays off. All that for this, ready? Good job. Here we go. Oh, I shot a little too early. It was, All right, so you can see the shadow on the other side of the face. I'm trying to get a little more dramatic. Can we bring it around a little bit more forward? And I'll tell you when to stop. Because the further you go, right there. If we go any further, the shot will look like this. Like that. Okay. So that's plenty far enough. All right, we're going to have to wrap this up here. Oh, that's a great look. Oh, I got to back off. Well, this looks great. You look concerned. I love that. Nice. Oh, I'm cutting off all kinds of limbs and stuff. I'm sorry. You don't, there, oh, there we go. All right, the last thing I want to show you, and it just takes 2 seconds, is I get a lot of people asking me this question. They say, Scott, I'm shooting full-length shots. They just don't look right. There's something weird about them. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something that doesn't look right. And so I'm going to shoot can I get you to pick a pose, hold it, and don't change it? So, because I'm going to take two, like a before and after. All right, so let me just get a shot. We're going to do a full length. See if I can go back far enough for a full length. Let me zoom all the way out. Oh, I can kind of do it. All right, Brad, can we slide this over here? I want as little junk in the shot as possible. Okay, you're going to hold this pose and don't move, Caroline. All right, hold on, don't move. All right, now, so here's the shot, full-length shot. All right, and then here's what the problem is. The problem is when you shoot full-length, you can't shoot it standing up. You have to lower. I will usually shoot on the floor, but here we're lucky to have the stage. I can shoot it right here. I can drop down here, shoot the same shot. She's in the same pose. We're seeing a little bit of the leg of the tripod, but all right. And so I'm going to have Brad show you before and after the difference between shooting from a low angle versus shooting standing straight up. Look at the difference in how tall she looks. Well, he's going to get it to the right. There we go. So the before picture's on the left, the after picture's on the right. And you can see, look how much taller, longer she looks on the right. It's a much more flattering. Look at her feet and how the shadows fall and the whole 9 yards. It's a very, very, very like night and day look. So the next time you want to shoot somebody full length, get down low and you'll be set. Now I'm going to copy those images onto this drive that Brad just handed me. But before I do that, how about a nice hand for Carolyn? Great job. Great job. Thank you.
On my desktop, we've got Lightroom Summit and import. Do we have any tips we want to give them on importing? Is there anything you can think of?
Well,
build smart previews?
I would obviously build the smart previews.
What do you do for...
Well, now with smart previews, I do standard.
You do standard?
Yep. All
okay.
right.
All right. Do you guys know these little arrows give you drop downs to where you've recently imported from? Oh, that's quite lovely, instead of having to always navigate to your desktop. And there's something else in here I was going to show you. Oh, I know what it is. I'll start these importing, and then we'll go to the preferences for a minute. There's a new preference. Okay, you know how every time you import in Lightroom, Lightroom takes you to that previous import? Like, you might want to be working in some other folder, but it's like, oh no, let me show you where you want to go now. You want to go to what you just imported, right? And you don't always want to do that. So you can now have the option here in your preferences to select the current previous import collection during import. So you either turn that on or turn that off. I turn it off, because usually I just want Lightroom to import my files while I go about my business, and that way I don't have to be redirected automatically. So there's one little thing that we didn't mention this morning. A few other things that we didn't mention this morning while those import. Do you guys use collections a lot? Yeah? Okay, so sometimes when you make a collection, like I use them a ton, right? So I make a collection, you create your collection, and then you name it, again, something that you'll remember. Like Lightroom, settings,
I think that's finish, isn't it?
It is finish, yes. No, I'm done. I'm not finished. Ha, ha, ha. All right. Like I said, sometimes the jokes are just for me. So now you can tell it to set it as your target collection. So what's a target collection? The target collection takes the little plus icon off of the quick collection. You know how if you tap the B key, B as in boy, your images go usually to the quick collection? Well, I've just redirected them, so now they're going to go to the collection that I just created. So see this really big collection right here, this long name collection? That's the one I just made. But now I can go to any other folder, right? And as if I select an image and I tap the B key, instead of having to select this image and then drag here and then find that little place where it starts to scroll right there, and then waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. Oh, there it is, right? And then having to scroll back up. All I need to do is select it, tap B, it goes into that selection. Go to my next folder, I like this, tap the B key. Go to the next one, I like this image, tap the B key. And sure enough, if we scroll down to that collection, that collection now holds all those images. So that should be a huge time saver for people who use a lot of collections. Oh, good.
That's good.
I made it myself. No, I didn't make it. I have the best job in the world. They do all the hard work, they program, and I'm like, look how cool this is. Yay for me. All right. So those images should be imported by now. So let's scoot up and take a look at what we have to work with. All right. So what are we doing? So we're going through, and I hope he's happy with that background because I don't want to have to merge her in a new one. Right? That would not, anyone? Hair? Anyone? Hard to extract? Okay. All right. So what do you think, Katrin? What are we doing? Which one do you want to pick?
All right, well, first of all, I would hit the tab key.
The tab key, what does that do?
Gets rid of all the clutter that I don't want to see.
Excellent. Hey, what if I wanted to see this full screen?
I would hit F. Ah, true full screen.
True full screen with one keyboard shortcut?
Woo-hoo,
Is
just
that
like
new?
Photoshop, yes.
All right.
But then what if you want to see your interface again, even though you're in full screen mode? You need to go Shift Tab.
If you just want to back out, you can just go to F again.
Yep.
But for you folks who used to use the F key to go to full screen, now it's Shift F.
Yep.
Right? So we can take it out of full screen. Shift F again toggles you into the full screen with menu bar, and Shift F again takes you to full screen without that menu bar. But it's still there. You can still get it. Don't fear. It's still there.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so
I'd want to go through and then, either flag or rank the ones that we'd want to use.
All right, so
and he was just warming up in the beginning, so go to the end. No, I'm looking.
Start at the end?
No.
Okay, all right. So we'll go through, and what do you think? What do you guys think? Should we use ratings or should we use flags? What would you use? Flags? Okay, flags because maybe you're only looking for the one specific image, like the best image out of them all. But if maybe it was a wedding or something, or maybe you went and photographed like Mount Lassen or something, and you were trying to get multiple tiers, then you could use your stars, right?
Yep.
Yes, Julieanne. Okay, great, good. All right, so you just tell me when to star. Oh, she looked mean.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yep. All right.
Gothic.
Now I'm going to go with 1 star. I've had a 20-minute conversation once with someone. All the 5 stars were the worst for him.
Oh, no.
And the 1 stars were the best. And
that was a college freshman. They love all their images.
That could be, but I just wanted to tell that person that if they ever booked a hotel online, they probably shouldn't do the 1-star hotel. They should probably do the 5-star hotel. All right, so we'll tap 1. Now, how would I get this if I would like to tap 1, but I want it to auto advance to the next image? So I'm going to turn on the cap locks key. So the cap locks key, whenever you tag something or rate something, as soon as you've done that, it moves to the next image. It's a feature, people. Yes, I know. Some of you have your cap locks key on and you can't figure out why after you tap something, it goes to the next one. That's why it's cap locked. All right. Are we still rating? Oh, you're importing on yours as well. I just thought we could, do you want to just do this on one computer?
Good.
Okay, all right. Then we don't have to switch back
I'll just reformat his hard drive.
Just hide
Don't tell him.
Just rename the folder something else. Yeah. All right. Okay, so I'm going with your guidance as far as rating these. Okay.
No.
Nope.
No. Okay. We'll take the shoulder down, liquefy.
Okay.
Yep. No. Can you tell I don't like open mouths?
I can, but then we can't retouch teeth. So I'm going to tap 1 and 1.
No. Hands are tough.
Hands are tough.
No.
Mm-mm.
Go back. No. Ooh. I like the angry ones.
I like that one too.
Yeah.
She's smiling.
You
That's
changed the
pretty.
lighting?
It's really pretty. I heard a yes over here too. You heard a yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
All right. Oh, that could be really nice. All right, so you guys have already seen this, but this is kind of new to us.
Yeah.
Wow,
she's got a small head.
I think it's the angle.
Oh.
All right, now I just want to see all the ones that I've already marked, right? So we'll go to the grid view, and then how do I filter on that? All we need to do is come right up here to our attribute, right? And we can say, give me 1 star. Something that everybody always asks me is, how do you Really? Okay, because I'm also looking at video, evidently. So I'll just limit that to 1 star. A lot of times people ask me, okay, well, I don't want to see the 1 stars, or I want to just see things that are just 1 star, not 1 star and greater. So there is a little icon next to the 1 stars that if you click on that, you can change what you're filtering. So it's either greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, or rating is equal to. So if I only wanted to see the 1 stars, I could say, okay, show me just the 1 stars, or show me just no stars. All right, so that's just a question I get a lot. I know.
I have a question.
Well, you have a question
between that rating and that rating?
That's
filtering.
That's a great question. So the question is, how can we have this rating stuff up here and then we also have it down here? Because the the film strip down here is persistent as I go to different modules. So if I were at some point in time to find myself in a slideshow or the map module or something, and I wanted to apply a filter there, because when I go over to slideshow, you can see I still have these options. I can say, oh no, I want to see all of my images and turn off my filter without having to go back to the library module. Sweet. Yeah. Okay, so back to the library module for us though, and back to our 1 star or greater. Now, one of the things we can do at this point, we could either go into compare or survey mode, right? So we know compare is the C key because it's the one that you always find yourself in when you try to crop. Right? Because you tap the C key and you get to compare. All right, but the great thing about the compare module, or the compare viewing, is that it's the only place really where you can compare 2 images at 100% right next to each other. Right? So if I want to zoom in, well, I'm going to tap the T key. If you guys ever lose your toolbar, it's probably because you've tapped the T key at some point. So you'll notice right now they're locked. So if I do zoom in on one side, they'll both zoom in together. And then, of course, I can move around on both images to check focus and do stuff like that. And if I want to unlock them, I can unlock, and now I can move one independently of the other, lock them back together, and then move them. Right? So the whole goal of compare, obviously, is to try to just find the best image. Right? So we would look left and right, and if the best image we want to appear over here on the left-hand side. So as I use the arrow keys, or of course we could use our little icons right here, but I would move through and tell me if you want to promote it to the select.
Can we zoom in once?
We can zoom in once.
No.
So to just zoom in to fill, I just use Command plus or Control plus to fill. If you want to drive, you can drive.
No. Right. I don't have a license.
Notice how nice we are to each other? 2 guys up here would be like, give me the mouse. I want to take it. Give me that. We're like, no, do you want to? No, please.
Oh,
no,
please. After you.
Go ahead.
After you.
Really? No, really. All right. Okay. So using the arrow keys.
Nice.
Which one do we want to work on? Do we want to promote it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I promote it just using the up arrow, or I could use, there's an icon right here that says take Y, Y is the candidate, and promote it to X. But it's easier just to do the up arrow. As soon as I did that, what was at Y, what was the candidate, moved over to the select. All right. Just tell me if you want to promote one of these. See, that's nice too.
Maybe we should give both of them 2 stars.
Okay, so I'm going to tap the 2 key. You'll notice that the image on the left actually got the 2 star. That's because this is the more selected image. It's got the white line around it right here. If I want this one to be selected, I need to click on it and then tap the 2 key. So now we have 2 images. Shall we tackle these 2 first?
We should finish our comparison.
Oh, finish our... I think we did. We're at the end. Yeah, we're at the end.
Good. We're tight editors.
Yep. Tight editors. All right, the other way to do this would be, of course, to tap the V key. Oh, kidding. V key is for black and white. Yeah?
Very good.
All right. And now you will all remember. All right. So instead, I would really like the N key. Why the N key? The N key takes us to survey mode. It's the same as this little icon right here. That's the icon for compare. Survey mode, of course, is where we can look at multiple images at one time and actually reorder them if we want to. So this is great if you are doing weddings, something like that, where you're trying to tell a story and you need to sequence your images, because at any point in time, I can grab an image and relocate it, right? So I can change the order of these at any time. If I don't like one of them and I want to take it down or remove it, I can just tap on the little X there. We can move these down, and so on and so on. All right? Mm-hmm. Good with that?
Good.
Okay. All right. So we have the ones we want. Mm-hmm. Go back to grid view.
So would you somehow label them so they would be like, these are the pics, or to retouch, or?
I don't. Do you?
I can't. No, I don't use colors.
You don't use colors?
No. But I mean, maybe these might now, because I really want to work on them, I think they're the best, they might get 2 stars or 3 stars.
No. I kid. So I think that's great. All 4 of these then get 2 stars or 3 stars? 2 stars?
Right, because I don't want to have to look for them again.
You don't want to ever have to look for them again. So I know a lot of people jump right to 5 stars. I figure my photography is always getting better, so I'm saving my 5 stars for when I get better and I need them. For now, it's too many choices, because I do see people struggle and they're like, well, should I give it 1? Okay, this is a 3. Okay, well, if this is a 3, then this should be a 4. Well, if that's a 4, then this should be, oh, wait. No, well, this should be a 4. Well, then this should only be a 2. Well, then this, and you're like, oh, isn't there a 1.5? No, that's too many anyway.
Yep. So
just nothing 1 or 2.
I do 1, 2, 3 because it's Goldilocks. Good, better, best.
There you go. And then do you set up smart collections so they automatically feed in?
Yes, on my real catalog.
Okay. All right. We're good?
Yep.
Anything else you want to do in here? Should we add keywords? I kid. All right.
Nope. Let's go into the develop module.
Okay. So develop. Tap D for develop. Again, see, I forgot to filter, so now we can filter to get down to the 4 that we want. And retouching. Okay. What's our goal here?
Where's the makeup lady? No. So, well, you know, I'd want to know what the client really wants, you know, and what kind of look they're going for. So this is very romantic, gauzy. She's got beautiful skin, so that's what I'd want to accentuate. I always look at the images and sort of try to figure out what needs the most work. And I always start global, so I would be looking at the exposure sign.
So you would not be doing what I'm doing right now?
No.
But I'm just saving time while you talk.
You can't help yourself.
I know.
Right?
I know.
I would also check, just in case, I would check with the white balance tool on that backdrop to see how that color is going, to see if it's going to be a slight change. And it's very subtle, but I always want to start with a known neutral. Even if I'm going to add a creative interpretation, I always want to start with a known neutral. In fact, in every bag I own, every backpack I have, every camera bag, there's an X-Rite color passport because it gets stuck into every single shot. I mean, even my iPhone pictures have color passports. So I like, it's pathetic.
Seriously?
It's pathetic. Oh, it's so bad.
Wow. I'm impressed.
Yeah,
I thought I was tidy.
It's embarrassing. So I like starting with a neutral, all right? And then...
Shall we crop it?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I kid. It's the R key. All right?
Well, since we're hip and modern, it has to be a square.
Okay, so how do we do that? We set it right over here, right?
Yep.
We've got a 1-to-1 already created.
Yep.
And can I crop up a little?
Careful with her joint.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, I'm having a little issue there. I'm going to go with that.
Good. You don't have to do a square.
All right. There we go.
Okay, so now let's decide what do you want? It's a little tight. You don't do the square. Okay. What do we really want the viewer to look at? Is this like a cosmetic shot, or is it more like the jewelry shot? Let's go more for her face, you know, because even in a fashion shot, I hate this term. Oh God, you have to make the flesh look good, and so the product looks good. So let's work on her skin a little bit.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
Clean it up, make sure the color's right.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't do the crop. The square crop just didn't fit it.
Yeah, because it's live.
Color looking better. So what do we do for color to make it look better right now?
Well, I mean, we could adjust the temperature, or we could warm it up a little bit.
Of course, I don't really know what it's looking like up there. That's okay.
Well, you just have to gather around everybody on this computer.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay,
how are we doing with? So one of the things we'll show with the other images later is the auto button, which I can do now if we want to. I think it added a little bit too much contrast to her. So I'm going to back off and just undo that a little. In fact, I'd be tempted. How are our blacks? We're looking at the histogram, right?
You want to show the little histogram?
Sure. Yeah, nothing's clipped, I don't think, though.
No clipping.
We're good. Okay.
Okay. I know, we're like, it's a person. So let's go in and concentrate on her eyes and her skin a little bit. Let's bring a little attention to the skin, and then we'll bring a little attention to the hair. All right?
All right.
So, you know, she's got beautiful eyes, but we want to increase a little bit of the clarity just on her eyes, perhaps with the radial gradient.
Oh, I like the brush. I'm way more a brush person than you.
Okay, well, you do the brush.
I'll do the brush.
All right.
Just a little bit of a brush right here. So clarity also, though, tends, you can see it actually got darker.
Yep.
So I'm actually going to bring up my exposure just a wee bit. Okay, and probably we can do the same on the other side.
And now you can add a little blue to that.
We could, and let's do a little, oops, sorry. There we go.
There you go.
That's a little too purple. Let's go more blue.
Exactly.
Okay. We could also whiten it, right? So, hey, so if we like that, do you think we should probably save that as a preset? Right? So if you're typically doing something like adding a little bit of color, you can also add a little bit of like yellow to brown eyes to just warm them up a little bit. I would just save that as a preset, just like you save any preset in Lightroom. And we'll go ahead and then, how do I reset all of the settings at once? We just double click the word effect and it will neutralize all of those sliders, so you don't have to go and double click on the name of each one of them. And this time I'm just going to bring up the exposure a little bit. I've got a new, was I affecting the last one? I don't think I was. All right, and then I'm just going to paint right in here. I'm going to paint right in here. I don't want clarity up. I think I was affecting the last one. I don't think, All right, so just a smidgen. All right. When you're drawing and painting with a brush, you can tap the O key. The O key gives you the little overlay.
Vampire look.
Yes, it's the Twilight look. All right, and of course the H key will hide those. If you overspray like I did right now, a lot of people actually will use a much bigger brush and maybe paint like this, and then they'll just hold down the Option key. The Option key gives you the eraser tool, and you can just go in here and just erase that out if you go over too far. Then just tap the O key again. That's going to hide that overlay, and then we can go in and we can make or refine the adjustment here. We might want to take out a little bit of saturation as well. We could go in if we want to and retouch all the little veins and everything. I don't think we'll take the time to do that. I might want to tap the Q key. So the Q key is going to give me this spot removal tool, which we are now calling the Advanced Healing Brush. And we'll just click there. I just want to get rid of the holes in her ears. I mean, just the piercing.
So she can still hear.
She can still hear, yes. All right.
Right.
Yes, exactly. All right.
Now, speaking of Twilight, maybe we should make her skin go really pale.
We could do that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so.
You could do that with a brush, or you could do that in HSL.
What do you think? Should we take the whole thing to...
Let's just try the skin, see how that, see how that would go.
Paint with the skin? All right, so I'm going to take...
HSL and a tat tool.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you said selectively. HSL?
Well, I find this tat tool, my best little friend, is practically like working selectively. Got it.
So by just, okay, so what did I do? Sorry. So I'm here in HSL, and I selected the saturation as opposed to hue or luminance, which I'll select in a minute. And then we've got the targeted adjustment tool. That's what we're calling the tat tool. And then we just click anywhere, and whatever color whatever color I click on, it's going to select that color. And if I click and drag down, you can see that I'm desaturating it. If I click and drag up, obviously, did you ever use QT as a kid? That quick dance?
Yeah, with the orange hands.
All right, sorry. So we can go ahead and just desaturate quite a bit. How far do you want to go?
Good.
Good, all right. And then if I want to brighten that up, that skin tone up, and lighten it up, we can just go over to luminosity, or luminance, sorry, they're different, and just click. And it's hard to see, but what's happening is every time I click, the cursor disappears, but I'm dragging up. And just watch the slider. As I drag up, obviously the slider moves to the right. If I click and drag down, the slider's going to move to the left.
So if you don't like the person,
you drag down.
Ouch.
If you do, you drag up.
Yeah. But this is like a classic look, obviously, because of Twilight. We just don't have the same day rate. And now if you wanted to, you could like go in and sharpen the necklace and draw attention to it.
True, selective sharpening. We could also do a little highlighting on the hair.
Yes,
maybe a little clarity on the hair there.
Little framing on the hair.
All right, so I've got my adjustment brush. We'll add a little bit of clarity to that. Let's see what that does. It might, I like that with the little dots. Maybe I could put another dot over her other eye. All right, so you'll notice that the clarity here is darkening her hair, which actually is pretty cool. But if we don't want that, we could also increase the exposure, get a few more highlights back in there. See how it's looking really crispy? That look is...
Oh, yeah. Crunchy.
That look is popular today. All right, so then just don't forget, if you do decide to go in and make, like I scooted down to a different area, and now I want to just sharpen up the necklace a little bit. I'm going to tap the J key to turn off my clipping warnings. But when you do that, just don't forget, right now if I start painting, I'm still painting using those same settings as before. So I would want to click New and then set up whatever settings I want. In this case, I'm not going to move clarity, but instead let's move a little sharpness over, and we can go ahead and paint just to maybe sharpen that up a little bit.
So do you by default have auto mask on? Is that how you like to work, or does it depend on the image?
I actually, no. Is it on right now?
No.
No, okay. Whew. No, I don't, I rarely use it. Do you use it all the time?
Nope.
Okay. That's good. We'll just sit and chat. How do you use it? I don't use it very often just because, I don't know, I just don't. Because you know why I don't use it very often? Because if I get to the point where, I try to do a lot of stuff in Lightroom. I really do. But there's just a point where Photoshop has like 5 million ways to make a selection fast and easy. So if I have to sit here and paint for 20 minutes using the little adjustment brush in Lightroom, I'm not going to spend 20 minutes doing that if I can jump over to Photoshop and in like 3 minutes have that same selection made and the adjustment made. Because don't forget, you can take your files over to Photoshop as smart objects, right? And then you can make adjustments and use adjustment layers and everything. It's completely non-destructive. If you need to make a change to the file, you could double click on it. It would open up in RAW and everything. Yep. So for me, it's that when do I go to Photoshop? It's as soon as the selection gets too hard or is going to take too much time in Lightroom.
So we have used up our allotted time.
For this?
Yes. For this
Already?
one section for the shoot till 2:30.
No. Well, let's at least add like a vignette to the whole thing or something.
I want to do a vignette.
Okay.
But, so if you like that look, how are you going to apply it to the other pictures?
Oh, you can't.
Oh.
It's really too bad.
Oh, no.
I wish
you
there
have
was
to charge
a way.
4 times?
You would,
oh,
definitely.
Good.
Yeah.
I charge by the click.
So it'd be really easy. I charge by pixel changed.
Give me
so
that.
That's why I love global adjustments and filters.
That's right.
Love filters.
And big files.
So we can just select all of the files right here, right? They're actually already selected. But we know that there's kind of this, the way that Lightroom works is even though they're all selected, the one that you're looking at is the one that's most selected, and that's the one that's going to have the changes made to it until you flip this switch, this auto sync, which can be super helpful, but someday you're going to forget you have it on. So just try to remember that you have auto sync on when you do. But otherwise, if I just select the other images, we can just click sync and tell it what we want to sync. And what I might do now is just say select all except for, I don't want those local brushes.
That would be weird.
Yeah, because otherwise I'm going to have to go out and clean them all out and stuff. And then just hit synchronize, and then each one of these will have that same effect applied. So if we go ahead and click on one, it's thinking. Lollipop, lollipop. I don't know why that comes into my head every time. All right, so there we go. So now they're all being adjusted. Oh, I did the crop. Whoops. All right, that's okay.
Yep.
Actually, it's not that bad because if I did want them all cropped, at least the same aspect ratio, it would have done that. And then I could just go in and I could scoot the crop for each one that I need to. All right, and then I might need to go in and refine some of the other ones as well because I wouldn't want to cut off both her elbows like that. All right. All right. Oh, but we didn't do the radial gradient, so let's apply that. So then radial gradient, I think that's Shift-M. It's kind of weird.
Yes, it is.
That's a weird shortcut, but the M key will take you to the linear gradient. I always remember that because K is the adjustment brush, and I'm like, I can never remember it. All right, what is it? What is it? K. Oh, yeah, I got it.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
After my first name?
Never mind. Yes, there we go.
Or your last.
All right. I can't tell if this is helpful or not.
Are you guys getting anything out of this?
Are you getting anything
out
of it?
All right, are we okay? I know we're being a little silly, but we see it took us. You notice it took us a little while to sort of get warmed up, get to know the image, because you saw Julieanne and I our work. You know, we don't really work on things like this, but we did make her look dead.
Which is exactly
what we like.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So now we'll depress her with the vignette. With the radial gradient.
Okay, with the radial gradient. So one of the cool things with the radial gradient, just if you select it and you just command double click in the image, it will draw the radial gradient to the whole image, just in case you wanted to know that. All right, so then we could make this a little smaller if we wanted to, and let's load it up with a negative exposure. How much you want to go?
Not too much.
Okay, thank you.
Because we want to check the feather.
Okay, so scrolling on down. My feather's only to 50%. See, there's none.
But if you go back to the left, and that really harsh one,
Yeah.
I'll actually use this setting sometimes to position it just where I want, because I can see it really easily.
Okay.
You know, if I know it's a little off
So
to the...
if you knew if you wanted it up here.
Exactly, and then I
You
can
know
get
exactly
it
where
exactly
it is.
centered. I mean, it's ugly, but you can use it as a
Guide.
preview.
That's great.
Nice. That's beautiful. Add a little blue.
Add a little blue.
Temperature.
Sure.
It's my new phase. Just a touch.
Just that's too much.
Yeah.
Do you see what else is happening? Look at her arm.
Oh, don't do that then.
Yeah, see, it's bringing out her veins.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
So I'd probably go in there just with a quick adjustment brush and lose a little bit of clarity. Just right in here and right in here. And of course, if it's not enough on one, you can always come back in and do it again. I don't see much. Oh, because I'm adding sharpening at the same time I was doing that. Right? So if that worked, but you needed to amplify it, you could come back in here and obviously paint another one on top of it. All right. The other thing we could do is just remove some more red in the HSL.
Right.
All right. Okay.
Beautiful.
Let's do a little Y, before and after,
And H.
and hide those. And
Tab.
tab.
Beautiful. Okay.
Yes? All right?
Yes.
We're good? Okay.
We're good.
Thank you, Scott. Nice image.
Yep. Very nice.
All right.
Whether you're a hobbyist or a professional, B&H has the answers to your questions. Experience a world of technology at our New York City Superstore. Connect with us online or give us a call. Our staff of experts is happy to help.